Well, Adam, first of all, let's talk about the event itself. And so much has been said about, is it good for boxing? Should it be happening in the way in which it is? Should the British Boxing Board of Control, should they be involved? Should they have gone against the British Boxing Board of Control and gone their own way? Is this good for boxing? Should it be happening? First question.
Well, two professional fighters having a fight in a boxing ring, which is the environment that they train, their discipline to fight, is where it should happen. The fact that a dust-up happened in Munich beforehand was the wrong place for it to happen. So now, once that's happened, two professional fighters should fight in a boxing ring, or two professional boxers should fight in a boxing ring. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's saying no, they shouldn't. Well, how else are they going to sort out their differences?
I know for a fact from the reaction of my friends who've been in touch with me as soon as they heard that this fight is going to be on, that this is big.
I'm fed up with hearing about it. You know, it's every day I get emails, calls and texts and people stopping me asking me, when is David going to fight Chisora? The interest in this fight is greater than the interest than the Vladimir fight at this stage. It's phenomenal. It's bizarre that for something that at the time, to me, didn't seem that serious, because we're used to being in a fight. We're used to be. You get worse in nearly every pub or most pubs around the country on a Friday and Saturday night when people have had a drink. More than two punches get thrown there, but that was a few words, a couple of punches, a bit of a scuffle. People pulled it apart, a camera tripod at one point, and that was it. And the reaction by the media and the disproportionate criticisms and sort of public hanger of two fighters who had a fight is ridiculous. And now there's a chance to actually get rid of all that and do it where they should have done it in the first place.
So let's talk about the fights. How good a fight do you think it can be? Because it strikes me that the styles of the two guys potentially makes for a very good fight indeed.
That's bang on the money. Derek comes to fight and Derek comes to pressure, and he looks to get in your face and be at the distance where he wants to work. He's a solid fella, 17 stone with a granite chin. He proved that against Vitaly. Something else that he proved against Vitaly that at the time I made comment on radio, and that was that mentally, not once did he seem to crack. If anything, he grew through the fight with Vitaly. Wasn't phased, and there was a lot of pressure on him that night as well. So he's proved that mentally he can step up to the plate. He's proved that physically he can step up to the plate, because by the end of the fight, he was actually chasing Vitaly down. Vitaly wanted the fight to be over. Derek didn't. So during the fight, mentally and physically, he grew and he became a better fighter because of that fight. So he always looks to be in range and in your face. He doesn't want to sit on the outside. And David's always a fighter that always looks to let big shots go. And as soon as someone's in that distance where he can engage, his first thought is to throw a power shot. You combine those two things, you've got a fighter, a pressure fighter, and a puncher who can box, and you've got an exciting fight, because the styles are going to gel.
David's saying, yeah, he's gonna knock him out and he's going to teach him a lesson and all the rest of it, which of course he's got to say. It's all part of the build-up and it's the psychological ploy. But in your heart, you know, you're the coach and you've got to get him into the right place for it. Do you sort of recognise that this, in some ways, is inevitably going to be tough? It's going to be hard. Of
course, yeah. And the reason David said he wants to knock him out, because he does. He wants to knock him out. My job is to make sure that he does it in the right way and that he's prepared to keep trying, that he's prepared to throw hard shots for the duration of the fight, and that he prepares himself, and we prepare for the style that he's going to come across.
But to be educated.
Of course, well, listen, David's an educated fighter. He's got grade from way back when he was an amateur and he won a world championship silver medal. So all of his knowledge and experience, all of a sudden, he's not going to forget it and just go out there and swing like a novice. Of course, he's not going to do that. And it's just, but in answer to your original question about the styles gelling, yeah, David wants to knock him out, the styles are going to gel, and it's going to be one hell of a fight.
I was going to say, finally, I mean, when you look at this, you look at the number of media who are around the place, and here we are in Upton Park, big football stadium, going to be 30, 35,000 here. It sets the old pulse racing a bit, doesn't it? There's a buzz.
Yeah, and you know, it was just under a year ago that we had the same type of event in Hamburg, and you're looking at the stadium now and it's empty, but the atmosphere in Hamburg and the electricity in that arena that night, I think it's going to be multipled here, because you've got two English guys, both from London, in a London football stadium, and it's going to be one to remember.